Trenton Flowers, NBA Draft Scouting Report. This is a guy that you may hear the name of if you're a college basketball fan and be like, wait a second, him? And you would be fair in saying that because Trenton Flowers was a recruit who a lot of people were excited about for a long time. And he ended up taking his talents to the NBL, played in Australia this season. And he had a better season than a lot of guys do in Australia when they go over there. He didn't really get completely swept aside, but he only averaged 5 points a game, 3 rebounds a game for the Adelaide 36ers. He had originally committed to Louisville, and I think it was kind of like Kenny Payne's last chance, right? It was Trentyn Flowers was going to go be his everything guy. And then when he decommitted, you could kind of see the writing on the wall of the disaster season that was to come. But Riley Davis is going to help us break down Trentyn Flowers here. What is one word to describe Trenton?
Said appearance because he's a theoretical wing, or maybe I should say a theoretical prospect, because he looks like an NBA wing. He's got a good build, like he's tall. He has some defensive tools that will stick out to you as well, but I don't know how real it is. I don't know what sort of offense you're going to get out of him, despite like he tested really well at the combine, had a 42-inch max vert. And you saw some of that in the NBL as well. Like he can finish above the rim, he can get into the paint. But yeah, I still think there's sort of questions there for roles and just like how good he can be on the offensive end in particular.
Yeah, there's stuff that I feel like is NBA ready with Trenton, which is not the case with a lot of guys who are being taken in the second round, right? Like he's an NBA athlete with an NBA
Mm-hmm.
frame, and I think can do NBA stuff defensively. I don't know what the offensive game is other than like finishing. I don't know that I want him like hunting my own shots. I don't know that I want to give him the green light to make decisions. All of that would scare me a little bit, but at least you can see a framework to work with. I went with bouncy for my word because the man is bouncy. It's hard to deny. If you watch his film, he's very much an above the rim player. He even like when he has the ball offensively, everything he does has like just a bounce to it, and he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of trying to bulldoze you with his athleticism, and it can work, or it did work at the high school level. It worked a little bit in the NBL. We'll see if it works in the NBA. Is he more likely to hit his ceiling or his floor in the NBA?
I think it's floor. I want to say I had him like 57th on my big board. I wouldn't hate any team taking a gamble on the athleticism. And at least in high school, he was supposed to be this like point wing. And I think even part of why he decommitted from Louisville was saying he wanted to play point guard. If you watch his NBL tape though, like sort of stayed in the corner, shot corner threes, shot 35%, which is good. But yeah, you didn't see really any of that on ball creation that he's supposed to have. And I just kind of fear without, much of an offensive game right now, he sort of gets lost in the shuffle with, you know, there's probably 50 guys with his same type of athleticism, better wingspan, better measurables than him. And I think he hits his floor.
I went ceiling,
Hmm.
and it's kind of the same thing with the AJ Johnson video, another guy from the NBL we just did. I see a higher ceiling here than most guys in the second round, and maybe I'm getting duped by that because if they have such a high ceiling, it probably should be less likely they hit it. But I'm kind of wowed by it, and I think there's enough. Like I said, I think he does enough things that are pro ready right now, physically, that a lot of players in this draft don't. And I think whoever lands him will probably find a way to get him on the floor. What's a good landing spot? What team fit do you want to see for Trenton?
Think the Nuggets would be a good fit for him. They have the 56th pick if he makes it that far. Just what you look at when what they've done with wings, they've turned Christian Brown. I mean, granted, Christian Brown was a hooper at Kansas. I don't want that to be a knock on him, but I was surprised how quickly he contributed into his NBA career. They had Peyton Wilson. I mean, maybe you could say they didn't have enough depth, and that's why, but they had Peyton Wilson playing playoff minutes, who, if you remember, averaged like 2 points per game at UCLA, was also a 5-star kid. Like, they've gambled on pedigree before. And, when he committed to Louisville, Flowers was a 5-star recruit, and I could see it. He'd have a better chance of it working out there.
I like that. I went a similar contender type. I went the Milwaukee Bucks, and I don't have much reason for it other than like the Bucks went 3 or 4 years where they were just drafting long athletes, and his headshot looks like a Milwaukee Buck to me. Like just Giannis would like that dude. Like let's play the Death Star lineup, and Trent Flowers is a part of it. What's his best year in the NBA look like statistically?
Kind of talking myself into him having a season where he scores like 8.5 points, 4 rebounds, and is it sort of like it was in the NBL, 35% 3-point shooter.
I went 8 points, 3 rebounds. I think he's just productive bench guy, and I'm not saying any other categories because I think that's what's going to happen. Like he'll score, he'll rebound a little bit, he won't do much
Mhm.
else, and you shouldn't ask him to do much else. In 5 years, where is Trenton Flowers playing? The options are starter, bench, G League, overseas, or podcaster.
I still think he'll probably be in the G League or maybe on a two-way, bouncing back and forth. Again, I think there's a good chance eventually he sticks, but I mean, think about it. 5 years from now, he'll still just be 23. Like he has a long career ahead of him to make it back to the NBA.
I said G League as well. I think this is a guy that is going to have to kind of nail his call ups. Like when he gets his opportunity, be ready
Mhm.
for it. If he doesn't, then it's back down for another calendar year. I think the safest bet is he's still grinding it out in the G League. Most likely to, out of all players in this draft class, Trent Flowers is the most likely to what?
So his NBL cohort, AJ Johnson, I said was most likely to gas up a coach he never played for with Rodney Terry. Trenton Flowers is most likely to demean a coach he never played for in Kenny Payne. Like imagine I'm talking like 6, 7 years from now. I envisioned him on a podcast with Jeff Teague or Theo Pinson or Draymond or any of the like the NBA players who have a podcast and just say whatever with like of him just being like, yeah, I was all set to go to Louisville. And then I was like, man, do I really want to go play for Kenny Payne? Like, do I really want to go play for a dude who was losing to Chattanooga and Lenore Ryan, like D2 teams? And I knew I had to get out of there.
It's so good. Kudos to you for bringing that full circle after the other video. Just this is Riley Davis at his finest. I said he is most likely to gamble on his own player props. I could see a world where like Trenton Flowers is like, he's not the most successful because he's in and out of the G League and maybe he went overseas for a year, but he's just kind of floating around, not making that much money. And all of a sudden he stumbles into this genius idea to go under 2.5 rebounds tonight for $500,000.
So
John,
you have him going Jonte,
I
going
have him
full
going
Jonte.
full Jonte, full Trenton Jonte Porter Flowers. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I feel pretty good about it. If you like this video, we got 74 more of these on the channel leading up to the NBA draft. Thank you for watching. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.